All right. Now, Laura, you are a seasoned veteran of CONEXPO. How's it going so far?
It's awesome. This has been a wonderful show. This is my 6th show, and this is the best yet. We moved inside this year and have an incredible booth full of wonderful customers coming to visit us, and just this is the best. We have so many great new products and innovations and just really a new spirit that we're unveiling here at CONEXPO.
I think this is kind of a little bit like getting ready for Christmas, right? There's all the planning, all the preparations, the detail work that has been going on for folks from Bobcat for months to prepare for this show, and now it's finally here, and I just see smiles, right?
Yes.
I just see everyone seems like they're having a great time.
That's right. Yep. This show takes an awful long time for us to get ready for. Of course, it's held every 3 years, and we have been so excited to welcome so many customers to the booth, and they've come in droves, so we thank everyone for stopping by to see us. And yeah, we're so thrilled that everybody is here, and the energy that we have to meet and greet with everybody, and the energy that our customers are bringing into the booth to see all of the new innovations and new products is just, it's so exciting, and we're thrilled to be here.
New is the key word. Everything you see around here is new, and really setting the envelope, stretching that envelope for what's next. I want to talk to you though about kind of off the field, outside of the strictly construction area, specifically a couple of partnerships that you're unveiling this year that I think are just really key and really important to give back. Yes. Let's start with Bombas socks. I got these right up here because they're so awesome.
Yes, yes. So we are so thrilled to announce a partnership with Bombas socks. And if you've been in the booth a while, you may have seen the ice cream carts that have come out to deliver the Bombas socks. Several times a day, we are doing giveaways of Bombas socks. This week, we are giving away 5,000 pairs of the new Bombas Worksite boot socks. And this is a partnership that we did with them, and our goal is to give away the 5,000 socks, and then by doing that, we will also give away 5,000 pairs of socks to veterans in need. So in fact, 1,000 pairs are going to be given away right here in Las Vegas. So really an awesome partnership. Bombas is just a great company. They got their start on Shark Tank, and just a really cool company and a great sock. So if you haven't got your socks, stick around, and I don't know that you're getting these back. So
I'm well prepared for that. I can tell you, the Bombas, for those that don't know, and we show a video every once in a while up here on the stage, that they're a company that believes in giving back. So for every pair you purchase, they donate a pair, like you referenced. Yep. So 5,000 to give out here, 5,000 to worthy those in need, I would say, going forward. And let's talk about the decision to choose Bombas, right? Yes. You have a wide open set of choices. You guys chose Bombas. Why?
Yeah, one of the things that stood out to us with Bombas is I would guess that everybody is wearing socks. Is everybody wearing socks?
Anybody barefoot in here? No, okay.
Probably
just
not at this show, right?
Just check it.
So
I mean, the carpet is really comfortable, but
not quite that good. But socks are one of the things that that individuals at shelters are most in need of. So the Bombas Sock Company got their start based on that, and that if they could give back to shelters and provide them with socks, it was just a great opportunity. So we thought, hey, what better program to partner with? And because they were coming out this year with a worksite boot sock, it was great. It paired up with our industry, and it paired up with our customer, and we thought, hey, we'd love to share this idea and this concept with our customer base and be able to give back to a great organization. So really a good group.
Yeah, everyone talks about giving back, but I think Bobcat really proves this week and beyond that it's not just talk, right? That it's action. Another way that there's concrete action involved is with a partnership with the Wounded Warrior Project. Let's talk just a little bit about the decision to partner with that organization.
Sure. Yeah, Wounded Warrior is another organization that we are really passionate about and are thrilled to announce a partnership with. Up in the front of our booth, we actually have a camouflage wrapped loader, one of our newest R-Series loaders, and are just really excited to have that here and to be able to announce that partnership. Not only that, but we also are selling miniature versions, scale models of that, and donating all the proceeds of those scale model sales to the Wounded Warrior organization. The Wounded Warrior organization is so great. It helps injured veterans coming back from overseas or from different missions, and we are so thrilled to be able to partner with them and give back to those who are giving to us in terms of their service. So we've got not only scale models that we're selling and giving the proceeds, we're looking to donate upwards of $80,000 through those proceeds, as well as other merchandise that we are selling and giving those proceeds. But one of the large models, similar to what's wrapped in camouflage out front, will be given to a veteran in need later this year. So
I think that's
really
worth a round of applause. I think that's really wonderful. We should mention the scale loaders, the shirts, the hats, the mugs, the things that are co-branded are available at the Bobcat store back there. Now the loaders, there's only one here. We're doing an online order, right? So you can put in your order now and get those down the road. But those are really popular.
Yep, they're going fast. So get them while you can. There's a limited edition.
That's right. Supplies are limited. So while we talk about Wounded Warrior Project, I want to specifically talk about one of our friends, one of the team members here. I want to take a moment to introduce you to a man named Michael Newport. Now, Michael Newport is a third-generation soldier. He's in the United States Army and served for 24 years in the Army. He did multiple deployments in Iraq and Afghanistan. He was medically retired from the service in 2017. And I think he would tell you that when you're medically retired, you kind of enter some dark days, right? So there's some difficulties maybe getting back into civilian life after that. Well, Michael found the Wounded Warrior Project, or the Wounded Warrior Project found him, and they really began to work together. And he credits Wounded Warrior with changing his life, really with saving his life and giving him purpose, giving him direction. And through Wounded Warrior Project, he found his way to Bobcat. He's a proud member of the team, and we want to bring him up here now and hear a little bit from him. So please put your hands together for Michael Newport, everybody. Michael, welcome. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Have a seat right here. Thank you so much for coming to CONEXPO. We really appreciate you having some time for us here. Let's talk about your experiences here as you walk around the floor.
It's a pretty unique environment. This is my first CONEXPO, of course. I have to say that it's been a long time since I've been in a room with this many people and at one point in time, but it has been a very unique and exciting experience for me, so I've really enjoyed it.
Let's talk about your transition from the Army into civilian life, and one of the things we talked about earlier was kind of the drastic change, right, from having every moment prescribed for something to now what?
Well, it was an interesting transition, to say the least. You know, I had held every position in the United States Army from about as high as you could go as an enlisted member in the United States Army. And then when you make that transition into the civilian world, everything slows down so dramatically. There's always a mission, and when you're not on mission, there's always the training. So you're constantly going and going and going from one transition to another. When you come into the civilian world, everything slows down so just immensely that you try to find out, what am I doing with my time? And that's when you start experiencing things that you might not have experienced because you were constantly, I wouldn't say on edge, but you constantly had that adrenaline running while you were in the military service. And that was something that I had to learn how to negotiate very quickly.
Let's talk about at the end of your service time in 2017. What was your rank and what was your position?
I was a Sergeant First Class promotable. I was getting ready to be a First Sergeant in the Army. I actually got to serve as a First Sergeant as an E7, which is pretty unique. I was served in the United States Army as an aviator, so I was a crew chief, mechanic, and a door gunner. So basically what I did is I picked up troops and equipment and put them into harm's way and came back to pick them up when they needed to be picked up. And for a short period of time, I served as a medical air crew member, so I was flying in to pick up our wounded vets and then bring them back out to safety into hospital ships or to forward aid stations to get them help.
You know, you talked about adrenaline, right, and constantly being on the edge. It has to be an incredibly nervous time, right, to be, load up and we're going into harm's way multiple times a day.
Yes, sir.
What's the memory when you think about that? Where do you go?
Well, it's a really interesting thing because training, you get so much training while you're in the military that at one point in time, the training seems to take over. You kind of miss those points of time in your life. They're so fast-paced that when you really think about it, all of a sudden you're back on base and everything is okay. The times that those catch up with you is when everything slows down, when you have time to reflect on it. And one of the things that I think about often is I did a Christmas Day mission. I volunteered so that my soldiers could have Christmas Day off when I was in Afghanistan from 2010 to 2011. I wanted all my soldiers to have a Christmas Day off. So I volunteered to go out and do a mission. And on this mission, this particular mission, we were set to fly our brigade commander, our brigade command sergeant major. We were delivering meals to people on forward operating bases so that they could have a Christmas Day meal. During that mission, we started to receive oncoming mortar fire towards our aircraft. And, you know, we reacted accordingly. We had to go in, we had to pick up the colonel and the sergeant major, we had to get them on the aircraft, and we got out of there. Well, during that period of time, you're really not thinking about what is going on in that situation. When I got back later that night, I called home. I talked to my kids, talked to my wife, and the realization is we could have all died that day. On Christmas Day, my kids would have had to remember that forever. So it sticks with me as a remembrance that you've got to be on your A game. Every time you go out, you have to be on your A game. You have to make sure that you're trained. And then as a leader, I had to make sure that my soldiers were trained all the time so that I knew that they were going to come back.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Michael, in 2017, you're medically retired. How do you feel today physically?
Well, I can tell you at this point in time, I had mentioned earlier, just so everybody out here knows, in 2017, you would have never found me in a building with this many people around. I wasn't able to handle crowds. You constantly walk into a building and you are looking for the exit. You're watching everybody. You're hyper vigilant at all time. So at this point in time, I feel better than I have ever in my life. But the understanding is that just a few years ago, I was not at this point. To be honest with you, my last 4 or 5 years in the Army, I hid from the Army what was actually going on. I have wounds. I mean, I have arthritis in my neck so bad that sometimes it's hard to stand for long periods of time. I have arthritis in my hands so bad that sometimes it's hard to grip things and you'll see me shaking. I have a blown L5 S1 disc in my back. Those are the easy things to deal with. You can deal with the pain. It's the mental scars, the invisible scars that are the challenge. And for probably the last 5 years of my military career, I hid it from the Army because, one, I was a leader. I led young men and women into combat. They looked up to me. They looked up to my toughness. And I couldn't admit to them how bad I was suffering. So when I retired, and I was medically retired, unfortunately, one last kind of kick to the face was that in 2015, I had to have a pacemaker installed. Yes, I'm very young and have a pacemaker. I had to have a pacemaker installed, which is an automatic disqualifier. So when I left the military service and everything started to slow down, that's when the PTSD really took hold. And I went through some really dark times. And unfortunately, my family had to suffer for it greatly. My wife had to suffer for it. And unfortunately, you know, I lost the woman that I felt was the love of my life. I put her through so much grief because I was so afraid to admit that I had this issue going on that it ended up ending our marriage. You know, she stuck it out through my military career. She supported me greatly during that period of time, and I was too much of a coward to admit that I had issues and admit to her that I needed help. And I suffered greatly for it. And about mid-year in 2017, I was at the lowest point in my life. I mean, I'm lucky. Everybody should understand out there, I am a lucky wounded warrior. I have all of my hands, I have all my feet, I have my legs. There are gentlemen out there who are in much worse shape than I am. And that's why this program is so important. But those invisible scars that you do not see, we hide it, and we hide it well because we want to be respected. We don't want you to see the pain that we're going through. But unfortunately, in 2017, I went to a place that was very special to my wife and I. And this place called Cooper's Rock in West Virginia. And I climbed over the safety barrier. And I looked over the cliff, and I counted to 3, what seems like forever. And I was ready to take my own life. It was easy to wake up with the pain and the pains that I feel every day. But every night I was going to sleep and I was praying. I said, Lord, please let this be my last day because I can't take it anymore. And you can call it fate. You can call it whatever it may be. Somebody walked down the trail and it scared me, and I climbed over the edge. And I had already spoken to the Wounded Warrior Project. I had been waiting for counseling to get into the VA. And it was that day that one of the programs that the Wounded Warrior Project offers is a peer line. And I had the card in my wallet, and I called that peer line. And what the peer line is on the other end, it's a peer who's in the Wounded Warrior Project, somebody who's been there, somebody who's done that, somebody who understands the situation that you've gone through. And that program saved my life that day. He helped talk me through, and I was able to go home. And I sat there and I thought about, again, my kids. How would my kids live through knowing that their father committed suicide? My kids looked at me like I was the toughest person in the world. My soldiers looked at me like I was the toughest person in the world. And I thought about all those people, especially my soldiers who are still out there right now rocking it every single day. Some real door-kicking killers out there just doing the job so that we can do something like this right here. And I thought, how would they look? How would they feel if they knew that the guy that they looked up to took his own life? So it was a program, a simple telephone line that the Wounded Warrior Project offers that got me through until I could get into my VA counseling. And I'm proud to say that I still go to counseling twice a month with the VA. I still go in and I talk to somebody every single month. I make it a point to, even when I say I feel better, I still go in every month. And it's because of a program like the Wounded Warrior Project that I'm still standing here at CONEXPO in front of all of you.
Let me tell you, I didn't know you then. I know you now. You're the toughest person I know.
I appreciate that.
And I'm thankful that you're here. And Laura, we're all very thankful that you're here. Let me just take a moment and talk to you, Laura, about partnering with Wounded Warrior.
Yeah.
What do you see in Wounded Warriors? What do you see in somebody like Michael that makes you want to jump on board?
Well, we can't thank you enough for all that you have done, Michael. They're not words for what you have given to our country, and I can tell you that we are so proud to have you as part of our Bobcat team. Your story just gets me to the core. So we're very proud of you. Thank you for all of that. You know, we are very proud to have so many veterans in our workforce, and thank you to all the veterans that are with us today. And I think that when we look at the training that you talk about, the missions that you've been on and the training that you've been through, so many people come with that training, but and Michael has such advanced training with it. He has a master's degree in aeronautical science. I mean, gosh, what talent that he brings to us. But it's this determination and this grit and this drive that is so remarkable. And you don't find that anywhere else. And I think you just exemplify it so much. And again, I can't thank you enough for what you bring to we're a really lucky business to have you with us. And I don't think I knew that as much as I do today. So thank you.
Michael, let me talk to you about, as Laura mentioned, aeronautical engineering. Mm-hmm. You spend 24 years in the service dealing with helicopters, mm-hmm. and now you've joined a team that is very firmly earthbound.
That's true.
How hard was the transition for you from, point A to point B?
It really wasn't. The unique thing about aviation, there's a lot of correlation. A hydraulic system is a hydraulic system. An engine is an engine. An electrical system is an electrical system. The unique thing about Bobcat and the Bobcat company is that they were able to look through and say, and not just pass over my resume by saying, well, what's this guy going to bring to this kind of service? They were able to look and say, hey, this guy knows hydraulics. We've got hydraulics. Hey, this guy knows electrical. We've got electrical. Hey, this guy knows engines. Mm-hmm. Let's throw him on some engines. And I had a great support group. I will tell you, my fellow territory support managers, they took me out. They showed me the ropes. They showed me how to do everything. I have a great first line supervisor. My regional support manager is awesome. He put a lot of trust in me. And that was the thing about Bobcat that really sold me, was the trust that they put in a guy who 3 years ago, I didn't know the equipment. And now I'm out leading dealers to be profitable and advise them on service issues. And I have a really great relationship with my dealerships. They know me as a friend. I've had some of them invite me to their house for dinner. And it's really been, the transition has been that I was able to use my leadership skills. Maybe what I might lack in knowing everything about the machines was my leadership skills to be able to talk them through it, and then our great support system that we have with Bobcat. If I don't know the answer, somebody in this room right now knows the answer.
Right.
And I've done it here at the show. I go find an attachment genius, or I go find an engineer, or I go find my boss and I ask him, hey, what are we doing about this? It's that kind of family-oriented environment that sold me with this. And that's the kind of thing that veterans are appealed to, is that Bobcat respected my skills, respected what I brought to the table, but the organization as a whole. I mean, what other corporation that is this size does a person who just works in the field in Podunk, West Virginia, know the president of the company?
Yeah.
He knows my name. If he sees me, he says, hi, Michael. He'll shake my hand. No other corporation that I know of has that kind of relationship where we all know each other. I know almost everybody in this room, and that is so unique, and that brings back that family-oriented feeling that we had when we were in the military. So, long story to that short question that you asked me is the transition has been very easy, but it's been because of the support of this company.
I want to point out for behind us, the Wounded Warrior website and 800 number. If you know someone who you think would benefit, who needs to know more about it, this is how you can get a hold of them. You went through the project, mm-hmm. You graduated, you became in contact with Bobcat and joined the team. What was your reaction when you found out those two things were coming together this year?
It was really super exciting for me. And now I know that we had given a large donation during the dealer meeting from the proceeds from our service truck, and that really touched me. What I need everybody in the audience, and if you're walking around right now and you're just hearing out of your ear, what I want you guys to do is first things first is I want you to buy that die-cast model over there, because every single dollar that we make off that, we're not making that. That's going to the project. That's paying for things like the pier line that saved my life, okay? Or visit this website. It doesn't matter if you know a warrior or not. Go to that website and donate. They have programs for everybody. You'll see a video throughout the day of a gentleman who's in a wheelchair. They built a house for this gentleman. And what's important about that is we didn't have to pay a dime for it. My family didn't have to pay a dime for it. The gentleman who is now married to the love of his life and living a productive life, he had that house built for him for free. Warriors do not pay for this program. They've already paid the price, okay? It's through your direct contributions, okay, that this program is still able to operate. And it has one of the lowest overhead costs of any organization that you can contribute to. One more thing that I want to put out there that just for everybody's knowledge is every day in this country, 20 veterans commit suicide. 20 men and women who have stared death in the face. They've stared death in the face, come back to the good old USA, and feel that they can't live anymore. This program, this organization has the ability to help them because of your contributions. So please, if you know somebody, if you're connected with somebody, go to this website. If you know a warrior that is in need, go to this website. They're there to help. There's nothing wrong with the Veterans Association. They've helped me out greatly, but we all know that there's a long wait list to get into those programs. This program will get them help immediately.
Well, Michael, our best to your kids, our best to your family, and on behalf of everyone, thank you for your service. Thank you for telling your story. Please, everyone, let's give a warm round of applause to our friend, Mr. Michael Newport.